Čau přátelé, vítejte u nového videa. Spousta z vás se mě ptalo, jak to vypadá teďka v Los Angeles, nějakých 10 dní po tom, co ty požáry začaly. Já vám můžu říct, že ještě teďka pořád ty požáry probíhají, jak v Pacific Palisades, tak Eaton Fire, pořád to tady hoří, ale mám dobrý zprávy, protože ten požár se nerozšiřuje dál do města. V tomhle videu se teda podíváme na update toho, jak to vypadá teď, jak vlastně to město funguje, co to znamenalo pro mě. I já jsem dostal evakuační nařízení, tak vám řeknu všechno o tom, jak to vlastně vypadalo a probíhalo. A taky mám tady dneska s sebou mýho kámoše Sachina. So I have Sachin here today. Dude, what's up?
Man? What's up?
Sachin is also living here in LA. I wanted to take him along today because he's also actually been evacuated from his place, and I want him to share his experiences. And we're gonna go around LA, see a few places, show you guys what it looks like, and just talk about what life is like in LA right now. So,
absolutely,
welcome to the video.
Yeah, dude, thank you, man.
Thanks for doing this, and it's gonna be pretty interesting.
It's gonna be awesome, man. No, thank you for having me. Thank you for allowing me to be part of your video. Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one. We're gonna see what the world looks like right now in terms of LA, and kind of go from there. It'll be exciting times, man.
Sweet. Yeah. All right, let's do it. Okay, we're in Santa Monica, and yo, Sachin.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that, like the response that you've seen here. What surprised you the most, like in the last week or 2 weeks here during the fires here in LA?
Totally. I think what was super interesting about, this particular catastrophe was the fact that I got to see so many people kind of come together and help out the cause. Yeah. When stuff like this happens, it's just so sad to see, these houses burning down and like people losing everything, and it's a really tough situation to be in. Yeah. But I think what really helped uplift me and just I guess people around me was just being able to physically be there, help out. I volunteered and I got to actually physically go to these volunteers areas and see how many people were there and help drive kind of a ton of these supplies that people donated to other locations. So
that's
awesome.
Going from
it was great. It was going from one location to another, so I got to see both of the locations and how people were there. And the most valuable thing that we have as human beings is time, right?
Take a left here, sorry.
Oh yeah.
Go on.
Wait, left here. So the most valuable asset that people have is time, right? And especially in a city like LA or any big city where everyone's so focused on 100 million things, to see everyone kind of drop that and focus on what's important and focus on being there for people and really putting themselves out there, I thought was so amazing and just a very motivational thing. And I think it really helped sort of reinvigorate my love for this city, because outside of LA, when you ask people who don't live in California or Los Angeles, when they think of LA, they think of superficial or fake this, and everyone's kind of these elitist, or so to speak, right? And I think that's sort of the public eye of what LA looks like. So to see that facade kind of shatter when everyone comes together and bands together and is there for one another, I think it was just super incredible. So I'm hoping we can see a lot of that today, and kind of go to these volunteer sites and kind of show your viewers kind of what it's like and what people are doing to actually physically be there and donate their energy and time towards these, and obviously us doing the same thing, right? Being there, volunteering, and really putting our own efforts into making the cause better.
Yeah, dude, I love that. Tak, my jsme zaparkovali tady v Santa Monice, tady je Sachinovo auto, abyste věděli, že nekecám, jo. Tak tady to všechno je prostě popel, který to auto nazbíralo za posledních 10 dní. Úplně zaprášený. You park outside?
I actually park inside.
You park inside?
This was
so you park inside and you still get this much shit.
This much ash, dude. When you drive around too, I remember especially when this first happened. Yeah. You can see the stuff falling from the sky, the ashes and stuff.
It almost looked like it's snowing a little bit.
It looked like it was snowing, right? But it was
crazy.
It was so scary. So yeah, it's still, the residue's still.
Yeah. Wow.
Mixed with obviously just dirt from the car.
Maybe you just never washed your car, dude.
I never washed it, dude. That's the problem.
I wouldn't be surprised, dude. Tak jo, hele, jsme tady v Santa Monice a jenom chci vám ukázat, jak to vypadá dneska, jo. Když se podíváme na to, jak to vypadalo minulý týden a vidíme tady to pobřeží, tak minulý týden tady byl obrovský dým, který vlastně šel z toho ohně v Pacific Palisades takhle přes ten oceán. Jak vidíte, tak pořád je vidět známka toho dýmu, ale už to zdaleka není tak hrozný, jak to bylo. Jo, ta Pacific Coast Highway, tady ta dálnice, která vede podél celého pobřeží, vlastně tady kalifornského, tak ta byla zavřená ještě před týdnem. Teď už to vypadá, že tam auta projíždějí, ale bude zavřená trošku dál, kde vlastně začínají ty schořelý baráky a ty požáry, což je tamhle tím směrem. Turismus je tady pořád takovej hodně umírněný. Jo, tady ten pír, máme tady neděli a ten pír většinou bývá kompletně zaplněný turistama, ale teďka tady ještě pořád za tolik lidí není. Jo, takže tolik ze Santa Moniky. Tak jo, ale kamarádi, tak vy už víte, co nás čeká teď. Vzali jsme se Sačinem kola, máme tady jeho kámoše Rohana tamhle. Hop. A teďka se přesuneme směrem vlastně na Santa Moniku, na tu pláž a pokusíme se jet vlastně podél té pláže a podél té Pacific Coast Highway a uvidíme, kam nás to zavede a jak to tam vypadá. Tak my už jsme v části Santa Moniky, tady přímo na pláži, tady po pravé ruce, jak vidíte. Tady je příklad toho, jak se vlastně staví ty domy, z čeho se staví, jak to vypadá předtím, než vypadají takhle, jo. Je to prostě všechno dřevo, tříska. A proč vám ukazuju tady ten záběr, tak důvod je ten, že vlastně trošku dál, když pojedeme právě na té Pacific Coast Highway, tak přesně takhle vypadaly ty krásné domy, ty krásné vily, které už tam v tuhle chvíli vůbec neexistují, protože schořily popelem. Tak jenom pro představu, jak to bylo jako hezký, barevný, jak to žilo. Tak abyste to viděli. Tak tady jsme narazili na první policejní blokádu, odhadujeme tady nějakých 10 policejních vozů. Je tady vlastně checkpoint, kdy kontrolují vozy, které jedou směrem právě tady k Palisades na tu Pacific Coast Highway. Let's continue? Yeah?
Do it.
Cool. So Sachin, you also did some digging about like actual stats around the fires. Is there anything that you found that you could share around like the square footage or how many fires there were and what the impact was?
Yeah, totally. So from what I found out, right, there was a total of about 7 fires. The Palisades, one being a little bit bigger than the other. The city of Manhattan in New York is about roughly 15, like 14.6 thousand acres. So the amount of acres that burned down is almost twice the size of the city of Manhattan.
That's crazy.
It's insane to think about. It's actually just so sad to like know that like that much, has just that many like acres have been damaged and have been burned down. But it gives you context into like how powerful these fires are. Like, something in public media that I think like I see on social media is that like, everyone who kind of is looking at LA from the outside in is kind of like assuming that a lot of the places like in the Palisades are all like rich people homes and all this stuff, but like in reality there's a ton of people who live in these areas that are like not, I guess, like rich, regardless if they are. People are dying and people are like suffering regardless, but I think like there's this common misconception that it's only like top areas that are getting like affected, but tons of small businesses have been affected, tons of people have been affected. So it's just important to keep in mind that like, everyone has been affected by this.
Yeah, so. It's insane. Yeah. No a Sachin vlastně dostal taky ten příkaz k evakuaci, takže za chvilku nám řekne vlastně příběh o tom, jak to celý probíhalo a co vlastně musel udělat. Tak, tady už se dostáváme blíž k postižené oblasti, právě na té Pacific Coast Highway. Jak vidíte, tak tady vlastně policie zase koriguje auta, aby vlastně jezdili jenom určitým směrem. Teď se podívejte, vlastně, že ta policajtka ukazuje, kam to auto smí, kam ne. A jsme taky v části tady z té pláže, která je taky uzavřená. Ne ta pláž je otevřená, ale vlastně samozřejmě policie nechce, aby lidi chodili právě tady na tu dálnici, tak aby se tam prostě nemotali, protože tady projíždí hasiči a další prostě zásahové jednotky. jo, ale tamhle už jsou i vidět vlastně kompletně ohořelý kopce, jo, tady vidíte tu světlou baru, ta není ohořelá a tamhle zatím už je vlastně kus, který je kompletně ohořelý. Já když jsem mal natáčet to první video o požárech, tak rozhodně ještě nezasahovala armáda, ale tady už vidíte, že jsou tady opravdu armádní vozy, který kompletně hlídají tady tu Pacific Coast Highway a nikoho tam vlastně nepouštěj. A Sačin teďka říkal, že vlastně to vidí teďka poprvé, ty zásahové jednotky, a tu armádu, ty hasiče, protože vlastně drtivá většina toho města tak se tak nějak vrací zpátky do normálu. Jo. Ty části města, které byly evakuované, tak tam jsou zavřený restaurace, zavřený podniky, lidi tam vesměs moc nejsou, ale drtivá většina toho města tak se vrací do nějakého standardního režimu, lidi začínají zase chodit do práce a tak dále. No a nějakých 12 dní potom, co ty požáry začaly, tak pořád se daří vlastně ovládnout nebo zlikvidovat jenom nějakých 40%, nebo je pod kontrolou nějakých 40% toho požáru. Jo, takže to vám dá jenom obrázek o tom, jak rozsáhlý to skutečně je. What's happening here, Sachin?
So, looks like this is kind of like where the last place we can go. Or it seems like this is where they're blocking off traffic. So I think this is kind of like the end of the road when it comes to just like, you know, how far we can go on these bikes.
It seems like the army really built like a camp over here, and there are a few members of the army there guarding the rest of the path here.
So apparently there was about 16,000 plus personnel that were deployed from from the National Guard, from firefighters to police officers. So I was saying
16,000 people.
Yeah, like
fighting these fires.
Yeah, at the moment of filming this, so like probably now it's a little bit more, you know.
And you mentioned, you know, somebody who was deployed as a firefighter.
Yeah.
Their shift was 48 hours long, so they had to fight the fires for 48 hours. I don't know how that's humanly possible. How does a human being do that?
I don't know.
Without sleep.
It just goes to show like how like powerful, you know, these like people that are like the firefighters that we have, like these first responders, like you know, all props to them. It's because of them that we are not like suffering. At least some people are not. You know, they're doing their very best to make this happen and you know, bring these fires down. So
and that the fire didn't spread to the rest of the city down those hills into the main part of Los Angeles, right?
Yeah, it's unreal. It's kind of surreal to know that like this is the city that we live in, you know, and like, you know, people come here to chase their dreams, and like, you know, I'm just kind of like thinking as we kind of were coming closer here, it got more real.
You know, people whose houses got burned down.
I do. I know several people whose houses got burned down. That they've lost literally everything, man. It's just so sad to know that.
I wonder, what are these people gonna do? Like, what if their houses maybe were not even insured against the fires, right? Like, not all the houses had insurance on them. These people really have to like start their life completely all over again.
It's so sad.
Yeah.
It's sad. But at the very least, all we can do is help out, you know, do what we can, donate, and really just be there for the community and help out as much as we can, you know.
Yeah. Tak tady v tom armádním kempu vidíte, že jsou přívěsy, které jsou přímo na to, aby tam v nich lidi mohli spát. Jo. Je tam vlastně napsáno, že to na hurikány, tornáda, zemětřesení nebo požáry, tak přivezou právě tady ty přívěsy. Jo. A tady vám dají i mapu toho, co všechno je zavřený. Where are we? Oh yeah. Santa Monica. Yeah, we're here. A tady vidíte vlastně celou tu oblast, která byla postižena těma Palisades požárama. A tady už je konečná. Sachin, where did you go? Dude, I lost you. Where are you? Oh, here he is.
Oh, there's a light on this? I didn't even know.
Oh my god. Oh, okay. Here we are. Okay. Tak, dorazili jsme tajným podchodem do místa, který je střežený armádou, tak nám držte palce. Okay. Tak, dostáváme se tady zase do Hills, kde jsou Palisades. Kolem nás jsou všude tady opuštěný domy. teď jsem si všimnul, že vlastně každý ten dům prošel jakousi inspekcí, kde je napsáno, že tam konkrétně tady v tom domě není žádný hazard. Ale jak vidíte, tak i tady jsou ohořelý stromy a tady na zemi prostě ohořelý šuplík. Nevím, jak se sem dostal, ale takhle to tady teďka vypadá. Tak tady vidíte tu levou stranu, která je kompletně ohořelá. A takhle vypadají stromy. Spousta z vás mi tam psala komentáře, že jak je možný, že zeleň není spálená. Tak takhle vypadají ty stromy tady. Můj odhad, proč ty stromy, které jsou zelený a neohořelý, zůstaly stát a neschořely komplet, je protože je to živý strom. Jo, není to mrtvý suchý dřevo. Jak vidíte, tak ten strom je taky kompletně ohořelej. Jo, úplně ohořelej. Ale vlastně ohořela ta kůra, možná do několika vrstev, ale ten strom jinak stojí a koruna stromu je stále zelená. No, tady to křoví a ty stromky, co stály tady na té straně, tak jsou úplně pryč. No a tady za mnou vlastně už vidíme zase ty kompletně schořelý domy tady v Palisades. Jo, tamhle ještě zbyla nějaká konstrukce, tady nezbyla ani konstrukce, vlastně jenom ten komín od krbu.
Unbelievable how just devastating it must have been. Like, it's unbelievable to see it so close up. This almost feels like, you know, you watch movies sometimes and you see these things, you know, in media, but to physically kind of be here to see this in just real life is, I'm like at a loss for words, man. This is actually kind of, it's kind of unbelievable.
Yeah. Tak a máme tady vlastně další dům. Tady vidíme vlastně zbytek Range Rovera, který tam měl zaparkovaný před tím domem. Tohle byl obrovský dům. Tamhle zase komín od krbu. Jo. Košík basketbalový. A jinak takhle vypadá. Takhle to vypadá, když to prostě neprojde tou inspekcí. Do not enter or occupy. Unsafe. Jo, tohle je úplně hotový. Yeah, just imagine like going back to this. You leave the house, like you've been evacuated, you're out of town or whatever, and you come back and this is like the view that you have of a house that you've been building over probably years and years, and you had, you know, all your memories, all your things tied to it.
It's fires happened on January 7th, and a lot of people were on holiday because winter break, New Year's. So to even be away, I actually saw this TikTok of this girl that was in Mexico with her boyfriend as her apartment was burning down. Wow. She posted a TikTok about how, like, just her feelings about like what was going on and like the fact that you're just not prepared for this, you know what I mean? And like, how do you even brace yourself for, like, what do you bring? And I don't know, I'm just like kind of damn near speechless right now to just see what I'm seeing right now in real life.
Yeah, higher up in the Palisades, where literally like 90% of the buildings are gone, there's a occasional one or two houses that are still standing there. So imagine like you're also the one coming back to the house that's standing whilst all of your neighbors lost a home. Like, how can you live in that area moving forward, you know, until it's rebuilt, and that's going to take years.
It's just not the same.
Tady jsme relativně blízko Palisades. Tady zase další dům. Já jsem tady v té ulici přímo předtím nenatáčel. Tady je sklo na zemi. Zkusím nějak přejet. Dobře, snad to přežije kolo. Careful. Hele. Asi takhle, tam dokonce vzadu vidět i zahrada s bazénem. Wow. Ale tady přímo jsem nenatáčel a vidíte, že už tady ten požár ani nedoutná. už tady ani není ten smog, aspoň tady v té části, a je opravdu fascinující, jak dva domy jsou srovnaný se zemí a pak tady máte dalších X, který jsou tím požárem kompletně nedotčený. Jo, takže opravdu je vidět, že si ten požár vybírá jenom podle toho, kam zrovna fouká vítr. A když ty požáry začaly, tak tady byla ta největší vichřice, co jsem já osobně tady v LA zažil, a to strašně pomáhalo tomu šíření těch požárů. Jo, vlastně od té doby, ano, občas se zvedne vítr, občas je to zase trošku lepší, jo, třeba teďka trošku fouká, ale už to není vůbec podobný tomu, co to bylo ten první den nebo dva. Jo, jo, tady vidíte, že zbytek tady té ulice, aspoň konkrétně, tak je úplně v pohodě. Bylo to tam těch pár domů na začátku, ale jenom takhle aspoň pro představu, jak vlastně ten neighborhood celkově vypadá, jo? Jak vidíte, že to jsou opravdu pěkný velký vily s krásnýma pozemkama, zahradama, basketbalovými kurtama, garážema pro tři i víc aut. A hodně tady taky pendluje policie, ale nikdo nám ani neřekl, že tu nesmíme být, nikdo nás nezastavil. Vlastně jsme neprojížděli ani žádným checkpointem. Teď nevím, jestli to bylo tím, že jsme na kolech, ale zatím pokud vím, tak je to tady veřejně přístupný. Jo, my jedeme dál tady tím neighborhoodem. Tamhle vpravo vzadu vidíte zase rozestavěný dům, jo, zase prostě kompletně stavěný ze dřeva. Soukromá policie samozřejmě. Jo, jsou i nějaké zprávy o rabování, což je něco, co se tady v Los Angeles tak nějak dá očekávat. Kdykoliv je nějaká nestandardní situace, tak to rabování tady probíhá. Je to taková jako smutnější realita v Los Angeles. Zase jo, krásný pozemky, načančaný, kytky, křoví. Zase inspekce v pořádku. Tohle je Amerika. Takovýhle dům. Můžu se pak podívat. A takovýhle dům tady může klidně stát $10 milionů. Úplně s přehledem. Jo, nějakých 200–250 milionů korun. Úplně v klidu. Já jsem se s váma chtěl podělit ještě o tom, jak tady vlastně probíhala ta evakuace, a Sachin tady dostal vlastně to evakuační nařízení. Já sice taky, ale vlastně ne dlouho potom, co mi poslali to evakuační nařízení, tak mi poslali, že pro moji oblast to vlastně nakonec neplatí, takže to bylo hodně takový confusing a je vidět, že i vláda v tom má trošku bordel. But Sachin, I know you got that evacuation notice. You got that alert on your phone, right? That says like your area is like under evacuation because you live pretty close, like under the hill, like in West Hollywood. Like, what was that like? What happened and what did you do?
Yeah, so want to clarify that like I was adjacent to where like the red zone was. So like at the red zone is where like, you know, that was the actual evacuation. Where we were was like the yellow, like it was right next to it. So essentially what ended up happening was I was actually taking a nap. I was literally asleep. It was like 5 p.m., 6 p.m. because I was jet lagged.
And the notice you get, it does a really loud noise on your phone, right?
Right. But like I didn't even like know, right? Like my girlfriend woke me up and she was like, hey, like we need to like, I think like the fires are closing in. She's like on the app where you can kind of see kind of where like the fires are and how fast they're spreading. And she's like, it's coming like closer to West Hollywood where like I live. And I'm like, okay, yeah. I'm in my head, I'm so jet lagged because I just got back from India that I'm like, I'm trying to just sleep. So I went back to bed and then I got woken up again. And she's like, we need to leave like now because it's like pretty close by.
Oh my
And so I'm like,
God,
okay.
dude.
I opened my door and in the hallway of my apartment, you can smell just like the fumes and just like the flame, like everything. It just smelled so like things were burning.
No way.
And I looked at the window.
Could you like see the smoke, or you could smell it?
I could just smell it.
Yeah.
But when you looked in the window, like I live on like the 3rd floor, and you look at the window, there was like literally not far from me, there was literally fires that were like this. It looked like gates. Like it was just like flames.
Wait, you could see the fires from your window?
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude.
One of the scariest moments of my life, because
that is wild.
It was wild, man. It was just like, the thing is, like, when you see it again, like you can hear about things and you can kind of like, you know, I knew the Palisades fire like was going on, but when you just physically see it, it was just like, it felt like too real, right?
It was real.
And so when I was so at that moment, we knew we had a split decision of like, we only had like maybe 10-15 minutes to pack what we need and leave. And I think that was like the hardest part for me. Now granted, like, I also want to preface this by saying, like, obviously people lost their homes and people have like much more bigger issues. Like, I'm not trying to put my like situation above that. I know like a lot of people lost more than that. And so, but like still the thought process that kind of goes into like sort of this apocalyptic mindset.
Because you gotta act now, right?
You gotta act now.
You gotta like take care of yourself, your girlfriend.
Literally. And we're just like, I mean, the things that we were even saying, like, do we need this or do we not need this? Like random objects. And we were like, let's pack the passports, let's pack like, you know, cameras, like the
credit cards.
laptops, credit cards, right? Like every like kind of like technology like we brought. And we were like, well, let's bring both cars. And just like leaving my apartment knowing that like it might not be there when I get back was, I think, like the scariest feeling. In fact, I had a friend who was closer and she called me saying like she evacuated, and she was kind of like almost crying and being like, hey, like, I don't know if I'm gonna see my apartment again. I'm hoping your apartment is gonna be okay. And it was just like the thoughts that were the things that people were saying were just sad. But you know what the craziest part was when we got into the cars and we were like driving away, it looked like a zombie apocalypse. Like cars were everywhere. People were driving on the sidewalks. It was crazy.
Just to get out of there.
And then on the left side of my face, you could kind of see the fire. So it was like illuminating on this side. And on the right side, it was like dark because it was so it was just felt like I literally was so scared, because also we took 2 cars. So my girlfriend's is another car.
Oh my God.
And I was even more stressed about that because I'm like, dude, like,
because you don't know if she's like behind you, like where she is.
And you don't know how people are driving. Like they're driving like it's like, you know, like it's like the end of the world. Like they're on sidewalks.
There's no rules. Like no rules.
Yeah, literally no rules. That was the one thing, because like you'll see like people red lights. People were just
they want to save their life.
Exactly, man. So it was just a scary feeling. We ended up like luckily being safe and evacuating, and everything was okay.
Where did you go? Like,
so we originally went to La Brea area, which was more central LA, kind of away from like the noise, and we stayed with like 2 friends who were gracious enough to host us.
It's crash couch.
Yeah, crash a couch. Well, they actually had a second bedroom, so it was even better.
Okay. That's good. Amazing.
That's great. Yeah. So then the next day we ended up actually going to Irvine and met up with our other friends who evacuated that way. So it's a little bit further out from the city.
Wow.
And we stayed there for like a day and just to,
That's crazy, dude.
Dude, it was crazy.
Like, I know, like, compared to other people, like, nothing happened to you guys, but like still going through that experience and like leaving your home on a 10-minute notice, like packing all your stuff that you can think of, and like just trying to get to safety, like this just sounds really stressful.
It was really stressful, man.
Like a movie.
It's like a movie. Agree. And you're getting called, like everyone was calling, like my mom, my dad, like everyone around me, because they're like on the news, they're seeing like these like crazy fires, and I'm just like, I don't know, man. It's I'm just blessed to be okay, safe, alive, and I'm also blessed to know that like my apartment wasn't touched, and
dude.
You know, to know like other people were like, just, you know, the things that happened to them is just, it's really sad.
Yeah, dude. Really sad. Well, I'm sorry you had to go through that, and thanks for sharing that. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Ještě jednou pohled na neighborhood Pacific Palisades, části, která není napřímo postižená. Jak vidíte, tak tamhle zase hlídá vjezd armáda, takže samozřejmě s respektem dál jezdit nebudeme v tuhle chvíli. Tohle tady, když jsem tady natáčel minulý týden, nebylo, žádná armáda nebyla v těchto ulicích. Tak a my už teďka sjedeme zpátky k oceánu a půjdeme se podívat na místa, kde si lidi navzájem pomáhají, kde jsou ty volunteer centers, kde se vlastně shromažďují sbírky pro lidi, kteří byli v těch požárech ovlivnění a postižený. Takže jedeme dolů směrem k oceánu. Tak jo, hele, my jsme dorazili tady se Sačinem do Santa Monica College, kde je jedno z těch míst, kde se shromažďují sbírky pro pomoc těm, co byli postižení v těch požárech. A teďka se podíváme, jak vypadá jedno z těch volunteering sites. Yeah, so we're here at the Santa Monica College. Behind us, you can see that this is where the volunteering site is, where people are collecting clothes and food and other items that could be useful for those that were impacted by the fires. But yeah, guys, this has been you know, just a really like a raw look into what life is like right now in LA. Just a week or so after the fire started, and yeah, we just wanted to show you what it's like. And yeah, thank you, Sachi, for coming along.
Yeah, thank
coming
you.
along. But yeah, any like last thoughts or feelings, or you know, after seeing what you saw today, like?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like truthfully speaking, it's just like it was just a really surreal experience. I think, like, you know, especially knowing that this is in a city that we live in. You know, I haven't seen what it was like kind of in the heat of the moment. So to actually see kind of the aftermath of what happened and just how devastating, like I just keep thinking about how devastating, like, you know, it must have been for the people in these areas, obviously around those areas. But you know, I am optimistic that this is getting better. I know that the containment is like getting more like and there's a lot more people here, like a lot more support in terms of like volunteers and first responders and whatnot. So the situation seems like it's getting better, which is good.
LA really came together. The solidarity between the citizens is really strong. Like, we have this volunteering sites all over the city. It's really great to see. And yeah, like you say, I also agree. I think we're out of the woods. The winds are not as strong anymore. The fires are more contained. So hopefully it's gonna just get better and better.
I think so too.
All right.
But I'm excited to
we're actually gonna go see if we can volunteer ourselves to help out as well. Tak jenom abyste nám věřili, že opravdu jsme začali dobrovolničit, tak tady teďka třídíme věci pro lidi, které potřebují. Tady v tělocvičně v Santa Monica College. Přátelé, jenom děkuju teda, že jste se dodívali na tohle video. Jak vidíte, tak tohle téma není úplně veselý, tak doufám, že se příště uvidíme u něčeho zase veselějšího, ale chtěl jsem vám zase jenom ukázat takovou realitu toho, jak to tady teďka vypadá týden po tom, co vypukly ty největší požáry tady v historii Los Angeles. Takže díky, že jste se mnou a uvidíme se zase brzy. Čau.
Čau.